What's up, folks? David Soto Jr. here, and this is the David Soto Jr. podcast. What's up, folks? Welcome to episode 56 of the David Soto Jr. podcast. I am your host, David Soto Jr., and forgive me, folks, for I have sinned. It has been it's been over a year since my last podcast, and a lot of things have happened since, and that's why I haven't been here. I'm still in a bad habit of drinking my coffee while recording podcasts. So this is what happened. Yesterday I just randomly clicked on my YouTube page and saw that I had a bunch of comments, not a lot, but I had a bunch of comments from people who have been watching my videos and watching my podcast. And I also have noticed over the past year that people have continued, not a lot, right? I have 181 subscribers on YouTube. That's not a lot, but people have continuously subscribed to my channel, even though I haven't put any content out. And that tells me that they're wanting more. And people are leaving comments on and saying, I hope you keep making videos. And I really feel I need to. I like to get more exposure as an author, as a writer. But B, I'd like to put content out there that may help someone someday. And C, doing this always seemed to bring clarity to me. It always helped me talk things out, work things out, as if I was kind of talking to a counselor, but a lot cheaper. So it's been bothering me that I haven't been doing this. I set up my new little studio here in the basement of our new house, and that's what first thing I'm going to talk about is what's been going on. Actually, it's kind of the whole thing that this episode is about. It's what's been going on. Obviously, coronavirus happened. That is a big deal, and I could have done a lot of episodes on the coronavirus and what's going on. Oh, there was an election. That was kind of a big deal. I could have had a lot of episodes about that. Current events, I guess, is what we'll call them. Also, the past year I bought a house. And that's where I am now, in the basement, the only room that's not finished. And I was going to make this a rock climbing room. But it ended up storage. Ended up, whose storage room. I got the treadmill in here, and I got my little studio set up here, microphone, and this is where I actually did a job interview. So that's another thing that's happened is I got a new job, and this new job does not have the freedom that my last job had. Last job I was in charge. I was the facilities manager. It was nice. It was a nice job. Nice environment, nice people. I happened to get a raise there, significant raise. But I was getting bored there. And the thing is that I went in and that facility was a mess, and I cleaned it up and I fixed things and I had things replaced, and not everything, but things were running pretty smooth. I didn't have as many fires to put out because I had taken care of them. I took care of the fires, and I did preventative measures to prevent further fires from happening. Also, I don't know where my future went or was going to go with that job. I created my own position as a manager by asking or insisting that I get an apprentice. That made me from just a maintenance guy to a maintenance manager slash mentor, or that made me had to because I had a direct report. That made me a manager of some sort, and managers get paid more. So I kind of created that. But if it wasn't for me making myself creating a position of a facilities manager, I wouldn't have moved. Now my pay may have changed over the years, but there wouldn't be no place for me to go. Tell you the truth, in an entire company, international company, there was only one maintenance guy, and it's because of the situation of where we worked, or where I worked, or the building that we rented, or no, the building that we managed. There was only. I'm distracted here because I'm trying to get my Bluetooth to connect. Maybe it's dead. Rechargeable battery. Anyways, there's no room for me to grow. I was pretty bored because I did such a good job. Now, it sounds like I'm bragging, but I guess I am, because I'm good at what I do. And this offer for this job came, and I was told about it about a year in advance. And I was like, listen, it was a friend of mine. Coming to work for you or work with you would be great. You're a good friend, but I'm pretty comfortable where I am, and I'd have to really see a significant difference in pay in order for me to make that switch. Well, it took about a year, and I interviewed from this very spot because of coronavirus. Again, all these things tied in. I interviewed from my new house and my new recording studio slash wife's storage room. And I got the job, and it paid pretty dang good. And there's yearly bonus, there's benefits, blah, blah, blah. And the biggest thing is the challenge, is that it's in heating and air conditioning, it's refrigeration work specifically for pharmaceutical environment, GMP environment, and it's hard. And although I've been in and out of refrigeration for nearly 30 years, I continuously have been working on stuff I've never seen in my life. And that is the main reason why I took this job, is because I will not get bored, at least not for a while, because I have a lot to learn, and it's not going to stop. My responsibilities will grow. I'm coming in at the ground level of a maintenance team. I'm just a maintenance worker, maintenance mechanic, and I'm making more money than I was as a facilities manager at my other job. So if I move up like I intend to, and like I usually do, I could be making I may be already making the most money I've ever made in my life. So that is good. But it's challenging, it's draining, it's physically demanding, and that's kind of leading to where I'm going here. Hold that thought. As I continue with the things that have changed in the past year, why I haven't been podcasting, I tried to get my website, Pass Your PT Test, up and going, which started with the fact that I hit 300 pounds. Now, if you know me at all, the past few years of my life, before you know who and I reunited, has been pretty much dedicated to living a healthy lifestyle and sharing it with everybody. I ended up kind of, well, a baby and everything else will kind of change. Responsibilities, a job, it's all changed. My life was dedicated daily to living a healthy lifestyle. Now it's very hard as I don't have time to dedicate my life to it every day. It's tough. It is tough. Oh, one more thing that's happened in the past year that's contributed to me not being able to podcast is I had another baby. We had another baby. We had a baby girl, Eva Esperanza Soto, and so that makes things difficult. Again, now we have two babies. We have two babies in diapers. 6 years old. I just started working again, and in the past 2 years, it's been nuts. Got married, had babies, started working. I wasn't working really. I didn't have to. Now I have to. Challenging jobs, new house, weight gain, dealing with the weight gain. So when I hit 303 pounds, I realized that I had to do something. So I started to implement all the things that I know, all the things I talked about, all the things that I wrote about, and I was able to, and what I really needed to do was document this on my website so I can talk about how I could get myself, if I had to, pass my PT test for the Air Force. And I was going to share that. I was going to drop down from 300 pounds to back down to 240 pounds. I was going to lose 60 pounds. I was going to be able to run 1.5 miles in the allotted time for my age. I was going to do my push-ups. I was going to do my sit-ups. I was going to document everything that I do, because here I am, someone who's completely overweight and out of shape, and I'm going to get myself into shape enough to pass my PT test if I was in the Air Force. Hence, and get more exposure, sell more books. It's my best-selling book. Well, I started that in November. Baby girl came in November. She came in November too. So I started around November. Baby girl came, and I didn't let that derail me. I stayed on. I started dropping weight. I got down. I dropped about 25 pounds. Then I hit a plateau, and I stayed strong and kept eating fairly clean. Eventually I was able to drop another 5 pounds, but it took weeks. Like, I was at a plateau for months, not weeks, months. I was at a plateau. Nothing happened. Finally dropped 5 pounds. I've since gained that back. But the big thing that I've noticed is not only is it extremely hard to drop the weight now, and everybody wants to attribute it to age, but the real thing that I noticed is that I still felt bad. Now, here's my major concern. Being skinny is great and all, looking lean and thin and whatever, but I'm not at that point. I'm past that point in my life where I do care about how I look. I like to wear what I think is nice clothes. I like to clean up my beard and shave. I do care, but I don't care what other people think, and I don't care how that affects other people. I don't let how I look affect me anymore. I'm not going to get down on myself because I got a beer belly or whatever. I'm past that. I'm not looking in the mirror and feeling ashamed of myself. What I am doing is noticing how poorly I feel and how I'm unable to do things. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-month-old. I have a lot of activity coming in my life in the next few years, and I don't need or want to feel like an old man, and I don't want to be limited on the things that I can do. Just a few years ago, I was rock climbing and trail running and jumping into creeks and lakes. I can't do any of that right now. And I attributed it to my crappy diet and my lack of activity. So when I cleaned up my diet, I thought for sure I was going to feel better, because I always do, and everyone does when they eliminate inflammatory foods. But I didn't. I didn't feel any better, and I started to feel worse. Tell you the truth. And I felt just pain. I just hurt all the time. And then my constant, I used to take naps all the time. When I lived in my van, I took a nap every afternoon. When I was a kid, like even my mother makes comments, "You still taking your naps?" Because I would always take naps. All right. But I can skip them. I used to be able to skip them. Now I can't skip them. They are necessary. And if not, I'm going to fall asleep. I do. I get drowsy at the wheel driving home from work. I get drowsy going to work. So something is definitely not right. I did a sleep study. I got a goddamn CPAP machine, and it didn't help. It didn't help with my fatigue, and it didn't help with the way I felt. And so this kind of frustrated me. I tried to eliminate things. I thought maybe it's my meds. So I spoke to the doc about that. She says it sounded like I had arthritis. And then I spoke to another RN, happened to be my mother, and she said it sounded like it's arthritis. Two medical professionals, retired RN and a psychiatrist who's an MD, both mentioned that it could be arthritis. I talked to my general practitioner, got some blood work ordered, and I came back positive for an autoimmune disease. I forget the test. What test was that? Can I look it up? But this test is positive, is a sign. If you test positive for this test, the chances of you having a autoimmune disease is very good. Even more so, even specifically, your disease could be lupus. It's very likely that I have lupus. I have been referred to a rheumatologist, and that's coming soon this week, and we'll see what happens for the ANA. And it's just a positive or negative, and I tested positive. This means I have an autoimmune disease. I looked it up. It's likely that it's lupus. Some of the symptoms significantly that I've had and noticed over the past 2 years is arthritis-like pain, muscle pain, headaches, and I forget what else. So these are I feel terrible. And I've never felt like this before in my life. If I have been eating clean, why do I have an autoimmune disease? It's typically helps autoimmune diseases. I don't know. A flare-up is because I have a flare-up right now. And I need more than just a clean diet to help a flare up? Is it because I haven't been really clean? I cleaned up my diet, but I didn't really eliminate cheese. Also, the higher consumption of meat that's not grass-fed, has that been a factor? I don't know. And that's why I had to get professional medical help instead of just trying to figure this out myself. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. This Thursday I go to the rheumatologist, and we'll see what happens. If I have to get on meds to feel better, I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to clean up my diet even more. I'm going to get significantly strict for a temporary. Obviously, I can't just. I don't know what I'm going to do. My thought is that whatever I've had, I've probably had for several years. But because I ate pretty clean, because I ate paleo, because I did not eat grains on a regular basis, I was able to keep it somewhat in remission. The thing is, I started noticing this a while ago. Now that I think about it, I remember talking to friends how I felt like out of shape. I felt like I couldn't do the things that I used to be able to do. Oh man, I got some work to do. I'm going to get some blood work. I'm going to do a test on how reactive I am to other foods. I already had one food sensitivity test. Came back surprisingly shocked that I was responsive the highest to almonds and cashews. Did not know that. Thought wheat was the devil, and so I avoided wheat and ate a lot of almonds and cashews for several years. Which, if you think about it now, this is why I like the podcast. If you think about it now, when I started to feel bad, was it because of years of eating almonds and cashews at a higher level because I was avoiding wheat? Anyways, also the good news is that I was able to lower my A1Cs by cleaning up my diet. I'm still pre-diabetic, but I am getting out of that range. I was 1/10 of a point away from being diabetic, but I've lowered my A1Cs down, and I will continue to do so. So I don't know if this is an interesting podcast for you, but I will say that I'm trying to get motivated to come back, or I am motivated to come back based on the fact that there are people out there who like to listen. And I've been asked several times and mentioned several times, when you're starting back, waiting for the next episode. So here I am. Especially if I'm going to have an autoimmune disease, I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to overcome it, and I'm going to share how I do it as I go. So, social media, David E. Soto Jr., JR for Jr., at David E. Soto Jr. on Twitter, at David E. Soto Jr. on Instagram. I haven't picked up any new, Instagram does everything that all the other apps do. I don't know if I'm going to bother with TikTok, or I have enough things going on, Yeah, that's it. PassionPTTest.com. If you're interested in seeing my weight loss journey and my health journey, I'll be documenting more. You can check me out on Amazon. I have books. The things I'm proud of is my novellas, my series. But my bestseller is Passion PT Test. Also, there's some other stuff. There's my just before bed journal, which I created, which I use. And if I could show you right now, I'd show you an entire bookshelf full of those journals because I made those for me. But people have been buying them and using them, and I'm getting a little bit of response back from people that they like them. I'm working on a volume 2 so that there's a little bit less redundancy in the material that you read. It's a 30-day journal, so if you get one every month or use one every month, you'll be reading the same material, which is not a bad thing because it's good material, but it's stuff that you need to be reminded of every day or every now and then. But I'm going to create a second volume so that people can alternate that, or so that I can. And that's it. Am I back? I think so. If I can get these in on Sunday mornings before anybody wakes up, I think I can reincorporate these podcasts. So look forward to hearing from me again or some more. I'll keep talking about my autoimmune. I'll keep talking about lupus, if that's what it is. Weight loss, diet, life in general, books. Oh, I got a good one to talk about. And all kinds of stuff. So I look forward to seeing you, hearing you, and making more broadcasts for you. Hearing you? Whatever.